lately I've been writing these things. I don't exactly know what to call them, chronicas, or if they're just aphorisms or something like that. And I've just been kind of writing these aphorisms and assembling them. And so I'm going to read maybe about 3 or 4 of those, and then we'll see. So, but if it's poetry, I don't know. We'll see. Nonfiction, whatever the crap it is. A genre. Peut-être. Okay. And anyway, this one is called Afropoem, from aphorism. And you'll see they're all kind of disjointed, but then they all kind of, you make your own links, choose your own little magic here, all right? A life based on fits and starts, empathy based on convenience, relationships based in proximity, an existence based in the ephemeral. And there I go, getting all French again. This is America. I should be ogling tits and ass instead of exciting myself with so much language porn. Then, who would ever say no? 14 times 3 is an age of possibility, of innocence, and being self-determined to find myself, or at the very least, discover who or what I was supposedly like, I gave in to my greater self and said, yes. Consider yourselves quite lucky, either blessed or cursed, depending on your point of view. The reason I haven't started code switching is because of my recent change to a plant-based diet. Those who insist on the image in poetry are more interested in the image of the poet than the force of the work. But if I must, about the image, consider the eggplant over fried chicken. Fret not, there is a process. It's like a toaster. It's the method of a toaster. One works internally until one almost forgets, and then the work gets done once it pops up. Oh, simple youth, what you fail to understand is what you call plagiarism, we call homage. There's an honor in the copy, for no copy is ever perfect, and besides, that which we copy is what was already plagiarized, copied from us before the fact. Don't fear the mountain. Like all rocks, it will split, chip, crumble away, in time, impermanence. When I was young, the thing I wanted to be more than anything else was an avant-gardener. What I once planned, and planned meticulously, fell apart as I realized that such concerns as parodic foregrounding of anti-poesis bore no weight. How to distinguish the poetic form from that which is essentially aphorism. If I sleep the entire day away, then is today tomorrow? It was Flaubert who once said, the entire dream of democracy is to raise a proletariat to the level of bourgeois stupidity. Is today tomorrow? Not necessarily, but after today, tomorrow will be today, the day after tomorrow. If you wonder why we can't get along, why it sometimes seems as if the gulf between us is insurmountable, then perhaps this explains why. I didn't come from a world where having to proctor an exam was used as a commonplace. The discourse you employ, you assume is easily understood, never seeing that it's a tactic meant to normalize your elite upbringing. Save the planet, admit your privilege. But maybe the aphorism is the point. Whose idea was it to plan so much unplannedness? Who thought it was a good idea to plan spontaneity? A rock, a chair, a horse on fire, afraid of the stream. Okay, this is one. Don't do that. Let's see. I'll read this one. This one is called Inevitable Self-Justification. Will the chronicas of the intellect, of the imagination, of the mind, are these categories mutually exclusive? There is this notion, an exceptionally misguided one, that the image, the text, the poem, even art itself, is somehow at bottom representation. To paraphrase Locke, what rubbish. I can state that there's a happening where the happenings happen, but I won't experience it. Due to bad diction, neither will you. Such is the material and atomizing weight of words. After all, you see this look on my face? Don't think you had something to do with it. It's a reflection of my commitment to abstraction, to ideas over image, to the cerebral over visual. I'm not a critic, I just hate a lot. The formal approach is one of collection, a representation of aesthetic detritus. That's where and how the chronica gathers its strength. It doesn't require an aesthetic justification because what it uses has already been justified. And yet, and as always, we can introduce that, and yet, it was the famed ersatz Frenchman Stephen O'Connor who once quipped, the city is language. Language that attempts to embody the world and be the world, and while it's nothing of the sort, it's all we've got of the world. And yet, and again, we return to the yet. What do those chronicas mean us? The chronicas of rural life. The fatal flaw in Occidental art is the assumption that despite variation and modifications of a theme, that all narratives are essentially linear. That is to say, you can turn things around, but nonetheless, it all must start and end somewhere, and in the circle of cause and effect. Nature, the universe as we now understand it, is a lot more complicated. So is the Chronica. But the language fails, a poor substitute for these semantic shell games disguised as phrases, sentences, ideas. We play the dozens, only with those unable to count. Mostly because lottery, like language, is an obstacle, an opportunity. And if I told you this passage was seminal to an understanding of the work, the project, the cause, the politics, would you hold it in your mouth to perhaps suck like a marble? Or would you swallow it like a pill lodged and dry on your tongue? Of course, all this could be solved if I explained it in French or summarized it in a single German word. If anything, it evokes a specific feeling, a particular sensation. It's a biological speculation sitting here vibrating, and we don't know what we're vibrating about. Y'all see my point? The emotional state of a diamond in the back, sunroof top, digging the scene with the gangsta lean, gangsta white walls, baby. Exactly what is that state? What does that feel like? The shade of the dogwoods, the starling, the rabbit, itinerant moths in a long summer, waited with pause. The ash, soon to be washed by rain. It's the beauty of the form. It awards metaphor like so much treacle, fidget, giggle, shuffle, shuffle, humble brag. Form or content, isn't that always a question, the eternal debate? In an attempt to answer the question, considering the following, the form of the Chronica is its content. Thus, bruh, do you even leg day? Okay, and I'll do this one. Okay, this one is just called Chronica Autobiographica. It's just riffing. The name is Rone Shavers. You know, it's in your father. I'm the one who aids and abets, the one who assists in problema. And as for the West, as for the rest, well, there was someone much smarter than me who, when referring to his masterpiece, said, feelings? We'll put those in at the end. So, as for the rest, well, I assume that maybe one day I'll feel something, maybe one day I'll care, but alas, as if there are ever any doubt about who I am, what I was, or who I've always been. I am, as always, an automatic piston remote control, magnetic, frenetic, to move your soul. AKA the crown prince of mess, the son of the super ape, AKA the bastard child of Eshu Elekba, AKA the 3 times dope, that secret bit of Hermes Trismegistu, AKA Das Code Switcher known as a Giggle King, AKA Mr. Gerbik of Gollum Control, AKA Iran, the killer of sheep and the kicker of elves, the only one to have defeated him in freestyle. I'm a metal dog, no lie. This is the first, last, and only time I'll mention that. I am good for the blood pressure, glaucoma, arthritis, and any pre-diabetic condition. Good for those who fear adverse side effects. Good for both lactating mothers and pregnant women. Kind to obsessive who lives by the list. Good for cats, coons, and chameleons, but anathema for corvids. Good for $40 towards a night out, or that second pint if you buy the third. Good for the geese and ganders, and equally good as an upstanding righteous and just plain nice. Good like honey on toast. Good where it counts, when it counts. Good on you and good at it, God bless you. Oh, and good to go, except in the AM because I needs my rest. Who would believe that there, underneath all those tonal shifts, there are actually secrets imparted under the guise of so much prolixity? Rumor has it he was named after his daddy. Legend had it he changed his name so that the differentiation between the two entities would be something permanent. The truth is that thing long since buried, forgotten in history, subsumed by myth. His name is his own, but it's not by his name that you know him. But if it's possible, let's get serious for a moment, because there is something implicitly, inherently false to not just the name, but any name. What is a name but a convention, an act of violence, a disservice to the individual, idea, or thing? A name is the opposite of possibility, for it's the way that in which we limit ourselves. A name is nothing short of squandered reinvention. Mob name, Ronnie Mumbles. Gladiator name, Spasticus. Rasta name, Ross Tweed. Street name, Ron $, aka Ron Doe. Gallifreyan name, Dr. Nah. Transformer name, Ronimus Prime. Twitter name, #LOLs. French name, Jean Ron. French Catholic name, Ron Michel. French Canadian name, Ron Eves. Writer snob name, Beef Filling Notebooks. Transvestite name, Miss Ron E. the Lady Fabulous. Officer name, Lieutenant Brawley Fisticuffs. New Jack name, Tenderoni. Enlisted name, Sergeant Suns Out, Guns Out. Yogurt pimp name, Sweet Acidophilus. Only of little faith to have doubted that yes, I contain multitudes. For if I ate fidgets, I'd be called fidgety. If I ate rainbows, I'd be called skittily. If I ate muggers, I'd be called thievery. If I ate spinach, I'd be called spinachy. If I ate killers, I'd be called murdery. If I ate cans, I'd be called boyardee. And if I ate razors, I'd be called shavery. Is he the sort to abandon everything, to suddenly free all responsibility without notice? Or is he simply momentarily afraid, and by abandoning reason, enveloped in the joy of momentarily losing himself to all he once repressed? Is he that guy? I am. Am I? Okay, I think I'll stop there.
Woo! Yeah.